Hello, hello. Caffeine, you're the man. Just want to let you know that. Yeah, today was a pretty solid day, I'd say. Had the one big drop here, but other than that, it was all fine and dandy. So a few more people have joined here. Just wanted to hop on the last hour of the day here. See if anyone had any questions. All our 0DTE trades went well today after that first stop out. So looks like we're going to be up 310 on the day with our 3-lot trade. Used up 13,000 in buying power. Whoops. If I could click what I want to click. So 310 by 13,000. So 2.4% up, or 2.4% return on capital today. Yeah, so someone said the dump at 1:15 or 1:15 Eastern time. That was a kind of a nasty drop. I tried to look online. I couldn't really find anything that caused it. Must have just been some large players dumping some positions. It's my guess, but who knows? Seems like historically the last hour of the day is usually power hour, so we'll see if we get back to where we started on the day, which was around the 38:30 mark. But either way, pretty solid day. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say. Not sure. People have questions on what I did this morning. At this point, I still have my working orders. I can go ahead and cancel them. They're pretty far away, and I'll be here watching. So cancel those. So pretty good way to end 2022. Anybody have any things they're going to be working on in 2023, trading or non-trading? Curious what people's thoughts are. Last year, at the new year, the thing I wanted to get better at was sticking to the indices, and I did a good job. Other than I had one Netflix earnings trade that was not a good trade for me, but other than that, it was pretty much just the indices and some covered calls and some crappy stock positions. Apple buy wall broke just before the dump. interesting. So, so I use Tastyworks platform here. As you've kind of been able to see, it's pretty option trader user friendly. You know, it's easy to move things around. You know, you can select one leg if you want to change the quantity or whatever. You know, I like the interface much better than any other platform. It's much newer than like TD Ameritrade. It's the same guys that had created Thinkorswim way back in the day, so it's got some similarities. I do have a referral link if you are interested, for U.S. members. Get some cash when you open and fund a new account. But if you have any questions on Tastyworks, let me know. Some of the things that I have up here, just stuff I like to see, the beta weighted delta. That's usually helpful. Some of my hedges, as things get close to expiration, the beta weighted part of it gets a little funky, but so I have a video on the beta weighted delta if you don't know what it is. It basically correlates your portfolio to SPY shares. So if you got a bunch of different stocks, it kind of makes that correlation with SPY. So you can get a better idea of how much your portfolio will go up and down based on what the S&P will do. My watch list on the side here. Got some indices. I got the VIX futures, and the VIX. Those are the big ones I like to watch. I got these S2Y, 10Y, and 30Y are the 2-year, 10-year, and 30-year rates. So it's kind of interesting. So you just have to move the decimal point over. So right now, 2-year rates are roughly 4.5%, but 10-year rates are 3.9%. So right now we got the inverted yield curve. I did a yield curve trade a while back, when it was just getting slightly inverted, and I bailed because it kept getting wider. So I was in it, and I just I didn't see a point in time soon where this would go back to normal, so I got out. And today it even got worse. It widened by 0.06%. So that's what these products are. They're part of the small exchange. They're different tickers with different platforms, but got Bitcoin, some crude oil, gold, silver, natural gas. Thought I had crude oil in here, but I guess I don't. Crude oil is /CL on here. $80 a barrel. Let's see where crude oil's been this year. If you want a continuous contract, you can just put in the $sign at the beginning. So that's pretty handy. So crude oil's come down quite a bit from where it was earlier. So that's nice. Looked at my gas bill the other day, and it was pretty high, but natural gas has actually come down a little bit this month, so almost cut in half actually. Almost $8 around Thanksgiving. Now it's 4.5. So you got that natural gas, SPX, the RUT, and the NDX. So I've tried the 0 DTE, you know, I use SPX. I've done NDX before, but the markets just aren't as good as SPX. And what do you know? Power hour is here, 2 o'clock. Someone in my Discord always posts a cat with the machine gun at 2 o'clock, and it always kicks off power hour. Today's no different. So, but where we were at before, our stuff's still worthless. So if you're afraid the market's gonna move another 35 points here, you could close this out for $5 and be done. The 2022 results in your blog include a single trade per day. What about the other tranches? So the other tranches I don't track. I mentioned it this morning. I don't want to have people focused on the raw dollar amount. I'd rather them see, you know, what can they get from a one lot, and then you can extrapolate out from there. And you know, when you put it on is really going to change the results, because especially right away in the morning, the market, especially this year, especially Q4, the market's moved quite a bit. So, you know, even a couple seconds can change, you know, if you get into a trade or not, or if you shift the strikes. I think, I don't remember at what point, but we had a trade, I think our second tranche, maybe it was up around here. I was trying to get into a call spread at like 110, and a couple minutes later it was at 50 cents. So it just, you know, the variability is pretty high at the morning. I like the morning better than the afternoon because, like I put on the trade earlier, you guys saw, and this move didn't stop me out. But if I would have put on the trade and it was right here, this move definitely would have stopped us out. So I like getting in early. Sometimes it's bad right away. You get stopped out pretty quick, but I'd rather do that than get stopped out late in the day. So that's just my trading style, my personality. Everyone's got to, you know, take their own approach and do what they like. So yeah, so NDX I haven't really used. It's a much bigger product than SPX. RUT, that's kind of a whole different animal with the small caps. Joined a bit late. What happened to the put side tranches? So nothing happened with the put side. We are still sitting at 2 out of 3. We just had the one stop out earlier this morning, so we are sitting just fine on that. So you can see our 38.55 strike, which was zero bid, 5 cent ask, is now 5.10. So got a little bit of opportunity there, but we'll see. 2 o'clock power hour on the final day. It's kind of the typical way to end the year. Santa rally. Other things on my watch list here: the MES MNQ and the M2K and the MYM are the micro E-minis of these products. So the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Russell, and the Dow. I'm not a fan of the Dow. I think the Dow is for old people. Sorry if you're an old person and you like the Dow. I just, you know, it's what a lot of news stations have referenced over the last however many years, is the Dow is up or down 300 points. You know, it's what, 30 stocks I mean, it's not really a big picture. It's the industrials and whatever else. So yeah, I don't know. The Dow is not my thing. It's my least favorite. The Russell's all right. It's a lot of small caps and in financials. Nasdaq, a lot of tech. S&P is a decent variety. But let's just look at the Nasdaq here. So I'm doing the futures, but you can do the NDX if you wanted. So year to date, where do we start? 16.5. We're down 10. I guess 11. So pretty decent drop in the tech world. On the last couple things I have, tick, I mentioned that. So this is what I'm looking at for my alerts on TD Ameritrade. So you can see I have my alert set at this 1,000 mark. So anytime a candle would be above it, whoops, this is the daily. Let's go to today. Anytime it was above 1,000, it would trigger. I had a couple here. I thought maybe not. I've had a couple go off the last couple minutes. Oh, must have been those and maybe these I'm thinking of. So basically, anytime it's below negative 1,000 or above the 1,000 is when I get alerted, and it's the New York Stock Exchange tickers. ADT is similar. It's the number of stocks that are advancing or declining. So you can see a lot of stocks have been moving up. So some people like to use this. If different indicators are converging or diverging, it might symbolize different things. So this is why I don't have crude, because I have the SMO, which is the small exchange crude oil futures on here. That's why at the very bottom. So that's what I got. Let's see what gold is. I saw, I think Cuban said you're dumb if you have gold and not Bitcoin. I think gold is basically break even this year. Yep. Looks like it started at 1828. That's right where it's at. Right there is where it started. 1830 maybe. So compare that to Bitcoin. Doing a lot better. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else. I off today, so I wanted to stream. I was looking. My only stream of this year was with Troy with Option Omega. Option Omega is a great back tester. They have 1 minute data, which is kind of unheard of from the big back tester places. So if you're doing anything, less than, I'd say, 5 days expiration, I think 1 minute data is a must. Especially 0 to 2 days. I mean, if you're using daily or 5 minutes, it's not as good. The other thing I would say on back testing is don't get caught up in the actual results. I think it should be used as a check, an overall gut check. Is this thing overall positive, overall negative? Is it close to break even? Just because it's, like I said, even if you're a couple seconds off in real life, your strikes are going to be 1 or 2 strikes different, and that can really make a difference sometimes. So sometimes it's luck, but back testing is pretty good. I just use it as a gut check. Don't back test and say, oh, I'm gonna make $2,000 each year because the back tester said so. But yeah, so Option Omega, that was my only stream with Troy, one of the co-founders at Option Omega. I do have a referral link. If you are interested, it's 50% off for the first year. So go ahead and try that out if you're interested. They have monthly and annual plans for that. So and they have the S&P and the NASDAQ, I believe is all they have for now. Just going on here to double check. If anyone else has any other questions, so they do have the Russell. So they have SPX, SPY, IWM, and QQQ. I've only used it for SPX because I don't do 0 DTE with the Russell or Nasdaq or even SPY. I know some people like the SPY. I know like Chris on the Facebook group, he uses SPY. Everyone asks him why. He answers it a million times, but for him it makes more sense with the size that he's doing and the capped commissions aspect. With SPY, a lot of people who are new, and even the longer DTE do the longer DTE stuff. When you do a spread, you think, here, I'm going to use SPY. When they do a spread, and it's, let's say, a $5 wide, in this case, your max loss, they say, is $432. But that's up until expiration date, essentially. But there is more risk involved than $432 if the stock or the ticker, whatever, SPY, moves down and expires in between these two and nothing happens. Because then what would happen? Well, your 370 would be worthless, so this would go away. But your 375 is now in the money. And if you are in the money, your option will automatically be exercised. Unless you are lucky enough to have someone who had bought this and they called and said, nope, I don't want to auto exercise this. And then overnight there's a lottery basically about how to match those up. So if there's 100 contracts and one contract says don't exercise it, 99 people will get assigned and one person won't. Who that one person is by random draw. So if that's the case, you could open up your brokerage account on Monday morning and you would be short 100 shares of SPY at 375. So to short 100 shares of SPY, with tastyworks, you need $19,000. That's a lot more than 430. So if your account didn't have 19,000, your brokerage would close your position prior to expiration. And that's why. A lot of people don't understand that with spreads. There is more risk in a spread if you hold it to expiration. So, a lot of people get mad, oh, it wasn't even close. The other part of that is after hours. So I don't know exactly the time. I don't know if it's 3:30 Central or if it's 4 o'clock. I think it differs if it's retail or institutional. But at 3 o'clock, that's not when it's done. If after the market closes, if news comes out that whatever, Russia nuked Ukraine or whatever it is and the market tanks, you're still on the hook. So, brokers everywhere will close this out to reduce their risk, because if you have a $500 account and you're using $430, they don't want to be the one that's holding the 19,000 in risk. The risk is on the broker, it's not on the trader. I mean, it is on the trader, but the broker is the one that's figuring out that risk. So yep. So guys got it right. The broker would not let you hold SPY short options close to the money into expiration. They wouldn't if you don't have the funds to be short that many shares. So like in my example, if you had a $20,000 account, they would not close this $5 spread. If you had $20,000 in buying power, because worst case scenario is you're short 100 shares, which would be 19,000 for Tastyworks. So if you have less than this, they would close out the account because your risk would be too high. And yes, SPX does receive better tax treatment than SPY. It's the 60-40, which is, I think it's 60% is long-term capital gains and 40% is short-term. Typically, you need to hold a position for over a year in order to get the long-term tax treatment. So that's one advantage. Another advantage of SPX. So futures is the same thing. So if you do futures, straight up future contracts, or the options on futures, you also get that 60-40 tax treatment. So pretty nice. Yeah, go back to my positions. I mean, even my indices are futures. The one thing with futures you have to watch out for is the span margin on that. Difference being the equities, so like SPY or single stock tickers, they look at your risk from a entire trade length look. So they look at pretty much at expiration what your worst case is. With span margin with futures, it's basically your 24-hour risk. So like if I go into the micro Russell, they don't have options, so it's probably not a good example. Go to the NQ. So if we go way out in time and we sell the 7100 put, your max loss is $142,000. So if this was a cash secured product, you would need $142,000. That's what this notional value is. It's 200 times. Looks like what they're actually holding up is $2,100. So basically, this is what they think is your, in 24 hours. I don't know if it's one standard deviation or two standard deviations, but this is what they think your general risk is in a 24-hour period. So if you put this in, based on whatever, 75% of the time or whatever it is, I don't know the actual calculations, they figure 10% of the time or 15% of the time, this would be your worst case loss, basically, in a 24-hour period. What that means is, as the market, in this case, would move down, this number would grow because your risk would be increasing. So with span margin, when I put this on, it's 2,000, but in a week, this could be 30,000. So with futures, you have to be extra careful in how much you allocate. So something to watch out for if you're getting into futures. The indices SPX, RUT, and NDX are not futures products. So even though they're taxed the same, you don't get that buying power reduction. So like I said, we go to NDX here. I don't remember what one I did. What DTE I did. Try 76. So 7,000 put would be 70,000. So it's not, and I guess these products are different sizes. So this one, the max loss is 700,000. So it's 100 times. So the other one was 20x, not 200x. My bad. So this is 5 times bigger than the other one. So 70,000 there. Let's see. Anything else? Any questions people have? Curious how you heard of me, if it was through Facebook or Twitter or random YouTube search. I appreciate you guys though. It's been a pretty solid year. It's been a good year. Like I said this morning, got a new job. Wife had a baby. But been pretty blessed this year. Check out my phone. Got a couple more tick alerts here. Let's see. Anything else I want to touch on? I don't think a whole lot. Nothing too exciting here at the close. We're pretty far away. We're 30 points out from our call and 60 points off from the put. So we should be good. Like I said, up 310 if you did exactly what I did. So that's what I know. I'm just gonna keep chatting here. Are you doing any of the DCs discussed on Option Omega? Not sure what DCs are. I'm assuming discussed on the Option Omega Discord. That's my assumption. Go over that way. DCs. Trades. All right, so is the stop loss on the entire spread or just on the short leg? Are the long legs liquid enough in the last hour or so? So you can rewatch the morning one, but I'll kind of go over it here as well. So put on the trade as each spread independently. I then go into here. So here's my one lot. Look at how much I actually received for just that short. So here, I'll use this one. So 127 is what I received. I think it was paired with this guy here for $7, so I got 120 for the spread, but I received 127 for that. So take the calculator and I go 127, which is how much I received for the short, not for the spread, just the short. And I use a 3x stop or a 2x net loss. So then it's 380. 381. And I always round up to the nearest dime. If it's above $3, it goes in dime intervals. If it's below $3, it goes in nickel intervals. So I just round up to the nearest dime, regardless. Give myself a little extra room. So 381. So I'd close the position. I do stop limit, so I would do 390 for the stop or the trigger, depending on what your platform calls it. And then I add 40 cents to the limit price. So this is how I would put in the stop. So the longs I don't touch. And reason for that is if it's later in the day. So like if, let's say we had 38.25 and 38.70. Let's say this was our spread. If we put a stop on the whole spread, we would be buying this leg and trying to sell this leg. Well, right now there's a zero bid, so you might not get filled because no one is actively trying to buy it. So if you had a stop here, your order would just sit there because it's trying to fill this leg. So I don't like setting spread or stops on the spread. If you have a narrower spread, it's not as much of a deal, bigger deal. But still, here it would sell for $5, but if it was $25 wide spread, it would still be stuck on the 38.50. So I only do it on the short leg only, and I let that sit. You can also do a stop market, which is just without the limit. I've done 40-cent limit for the last 2 years, 2+ years I've been doing this, and I haven't had an issue. I started after the COVID crash, so on the rebound is when I started 0 DTE. So I didn't have any, I didn't have experience with the actual COVID crash. But since then, I have not had any issues with the 40-cent wide stop triggered to stop limit. But that doesn't mean that it won't happen in the future. So full disclosure, 40 cents is not a magic number. Someday it might be 50 cents. But I personally have not had an issue. Double calendar. DC. So I did join one of the cigar lounges on the Optional Omega Discord. And they were talking about double calendars. I absolutely despise calendars because they're so boring. Boring is usually good, but they're so boring. I hate them. I don't do them. So I have not been trying out the single calendar or the double calendar. But if it works, then hey, that's great. I just think they're super boring, so I don't do them. But like I said, sometimes boring is good. So just because I don't do it doesn't mean you shouldn't. I see Troy is on the Discord. I don't know if he's on the stream here or not, but any other questions before I jump off here? I do I was gonna, yeah, never mind. Let's see. 2023, I think it'll be similar to this year. I think it'll be flatter than it was this year. I think the market will be closer to break even. Like I said, I am not a TA guru. I know nothing about TA. I tried it, so don't take my words as any sort of trading recommendation, or I'm not an expert. So that's just my thought. I think my own personal feelings. I've heard a lot of analysts lately say, "Oh, a recession's coming." As far as the stock market goes, I think all that is pretty much priced in already. So I think we fall a little bit yet, but I think it won't be as drastic. I don't think we're going to 1500, but doesn't mean it can't happen. Just my thoughts. So that's kind of the outlook that I see. The nice thing with the 0DTE trade I do and the DGSS, which is a 1DT trade, that there's no overnight risk. So I'm not really too worried about what happens. Even like with the COVID, I think there was some reports or whatever that, or charts that showed, a lot of those moves were overnight. The intraday wasn't as bad. I think it was usually a large gap down overnight and then a small up during the day and then large gaps down overnight, if I remember right. So, even with the 0DTE stuff, I think most people were sitting all right because the big moves were overnight. So, yeah, I don't really have anything else. Turn on the chart again. Some more power hour. So it looks like we are going to close pretty much where we started. Let's see what the volume looked like this week. That's not the right one. Let's go do a daily. Or last month. Yeah, so volume's a little bit later than normal. I think this was one of the days where features changed over, so that's why the volume looks bad. It's my hunch. So, not horribly low though. I think I said still Thanksgiving time, which is lower. But volume's usually pretty weak. This time of year, I think beginning of the year will be a little bit more stable. I'm hoping Q1 will be better than Q4. I'm just going to show you. So I just updated this chart here. Earlier this week, let's see when I did that. Yeah, so this was when I updated the 26th, so last weekend. So red bars are my 0DTE returns. And I guess I could update this. So last year, capital usage was around $7,000 average throughout the year. The first half of the year, in 2022, Q1, Q2 especially, with the way that I do it, it was around $11,000 in buying power. Lately, it's been a lot lower. Let's see. So that put, I don't remember if it was, what was it? The 70. So it was $65 wide. So today, the buying power was $6,500. Just for comparison. So basically half of what I have. So, if just to put it in perspective, if I made the same amount of money but only used $6,500, basically all these returns would be double, essentially. And this would be half as big or half as drastic. But you can see Q1, Q2, Q3, Iron Condor did well. Q4, I'm down 10% on $11,000 return on capital. Yes, $11K for just one contract. So everything I do is one contract only per day. I don't want people to get hung up in the actual dollar amount, so I just put percentage. So you can see I got the SPX is up 6.5%, and the NASDAQ is down a little bit. And this week, both the SPX and NDX went down, so these numbers would be a little bit lower. But that's kind of just a breakdown of how 0DTE has worked out this year. Also, a little plug. I got a 0DTE trading journal. So it's through Gumroad. You can click this link here at Income Options Trading. It's just below the chart. But it's basically a copy of what I showed this morning, that blog post. This is a Google sheet. So basically I made a copy of this. So when you can download it, and I think I actually give you, I think I made a copy. I mean, I give you access so you can download it yourself, and then you can make your own. So some people will click the link and then send me an email and say, hey, make me an editor. But I don't want you to edit this. I just want you to do a save as. So it's basically this chart. I fill it out each day. I haven't filled out the data from today yet. I didn't trade yesterday. But I just insert 2 rows above, and then I drag these formulas up and then put in the information. So if you're interested in this, it's free at Gumroad. I think it's store.IncomeOptionsTrading as well. Yeah, so you can go here, right here, $0. So if you're interested, got 10 more minutes. Anything else I can really talk about? If people have any questions or suggestions on things they want to cover, feel free to send me an email at IncomeOptionsTrading.com. I'm happy to answer questions. Some people learn much better with a person one-on-one. If that's something that you'd be interested in, let me know. There is a fee with that. I go in 1 hour intervals, so it's kind of whatever you guys want. If it's what you're interested in. My thought is, if it's an email and something I can explain over an email, I'll just do that. But if it's a number of things or a strategy or whatever, and you want to talk through it, then we can do that as well. Some people have asked about the hedges that I do. Because it worked well this year with the kind of the grind down market. It's not a riskless hedge, so I don't share that strategy in public because it could go bad really quick if you don't know what you're doing. So if you are an expert level, and take responsibility, that's something else that I could teach you, but not in a public setting. There's too many nuances and things could go bad if you don't know what you're doing. So I don't want to just put that out there for everyone to use, because I don't want it to go too bad for people. People have a lot of different degrees of knowledge and experience. So let's see. Market's moving up. Let's see. Whoops, that's why. There we go. Gonna close on our highs today, it looks like. and they're assuming that no one's going to be able to buy the market on Tuesday. Monday, I think, is a full day off on the market, if I remember right. So Tuesday's full day. Let me confirm. The 3rd, yep. 3rd is Tuesday. So Tuesday is when we'll come back. I mentioned, we looked at the news this morning. There was some high impact news Wednesday through Friday. So you can go to Forex Factory or at my website here at IncomeOptionsTrading, whatever one is easier for you to remember. Under resources and 0DTE complimentary data, I have the Forex Factory link here. So that's what I use for news. It's got the high impact, medium impact, and low impact events. So if it's red, I'll either avoid trading that day, trade small, or wait until after the event. So Wednesday is FOMC medium minutes, so I'll either trade extra small or I'll just sit out on Wednesday. Because there's even CPI. What? Actually, just kidding. We went through this. I don't know what CHF is, but at 9 o'clock there's the job openings and PMI. Thursday is the ADP non-farm, and then Friday is PMI. So, so Thursday, I think, would be a normal day because this is at 7:15 a.m. Let me sure. Yep, I'm in Central Time. Okay, so this is before market opens, and then on Friday, PMI is 30 minutes after market opens. So on Friday, if I trade, I'd probably put this on like 9:20, 9:30 Central. So I just delay my entry. CHF is a Swiss franc. All right. Interesting. Thank you for that. So don't know how much it'll affect the U.S. market. But Forex Factory says high market impact. So also feel free. It looks like there's about 12-ish people on right now. Let me know if you're interested in me doing more of a live trading thing, either at market open or market close or lunchtime or whatever, more often. If you think this is helpful or interesting, you can leave a comment or whatever, send me an email. I just I don't know. I want to provide value to people. I don't know how much this helps or not. Today was a pretty easy day. I'm glad we had one stop out this morning. I'd rather have a stop out on a day where I'm on, so you can kind of see what happens. I mean, not every day is going to be just a happy full winter day. So as part of trading, there's going to be losses. It's not just win-win-win, regardless of what some of the gurus say. So all right, well, I think I'm going to call it here. I don't think we are going to be hitting 55. But who knows? Also curious, for those of you who do 0DTE, and if you do charts, what time interval do you guys use? I'll go up to 15 minutes. Anywhere from 2 to 15. Just curious what other people do. Yes, and Happy New Year to you all. Happy holidays, whatever you guys celebrate. Hoping 2023 is a good year and trading goes well for everyone. It's a tough business, so. Ooh, a 1 minute. When I started, I did it on 1 minute, but just even 2 minutes pretty tight, but 1 minute is just, it's hard because the swings, the market moves so quickly that 1 minute it's hard to really get a picture of what's going on. But like I said, I'm not a TA guru, so. What the heck? There's another minute and a half I'll stay on. 3 minute, okay. Maybe I'll change it. 5 minutes. Alright. It's too much of a delay. I forgot to change that setting. Yeah, I don't use indicators for 0DT either. Sometimes I'll look at this at the RSI if I if we're at a market top or whatever. So like if this was in the middle of the day, if this crosses back over, I might throw on a call spread at that point. If I think it's gonna go back down, but if it's just a train that's going straight up, then stay out of its way. That's my thought. Just like it is now. I mean, what was it at 2 o'clock? 38.05. Up 35 points in the day, so basically a percent. Up 1% in the last hour. Makes sense. All right, cool. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you taking the time. Happy trading. Happy New Year.